The grand, imposing gates of the Whitehouse at Tullyard, Company. Louth stood tall and silent, guarding a secret that few could imagine. Inside, behind its elaborate stone facade and manicured gardens, lay a story of ambition, luxury, and crime, a tale that wound its way from the quiet streets of Moldova to the glittering world of international drug trafficking. But now, the mansion, which once gleamed with opulence, was set to be auctioned off to the highest bidder, a stark reminder of the lifestyle it had once represented and the criminal empire it was built upon. Its story was far from simple, and the journey it had taken from unfinished site to luxurious villa mirrored the rise and fall of its owners, Eduard and Natalie Chipper. It all began in 2014 when Eduard Eddie Chipper and his wife, Natalie, bought an unfinished plot of land in Company Louth. For €200,000, they saw the potential for something grand, a dream home that would stand as a testament to their success. But this was no ordinary house. The couple, glamourous in their appearance and taste, poured their resources into turning this empty site into something extraordinary. With no expense spared, the mansion began to take shape. They spent over €1.2 million building it, with luxurious additions including a €126,000 dog run, a pristine tennis court, and electric gates that made the property feel like a fortress. The house, when completed, would boast panoramic views of Company Louth, with expansive patios, finely decorated rooms, and a master bedroom with a balcony that seemed to reach out to the horizon. It was a symbol of wealth, of power, and, as it turned out, of much darker dealings. But while the Chippers enjoyed their lavish lifestyle, not everything was as it seemed. Beneath the gleaming marble floors and grandiose designs of their mansion lay a trail of criminal activity that would eventually catch up with them. In December of 2022, the Criminal Assets Bureau, CAB, took control of the Whitehouse, after concluding that the vast sums of money spent on the property were tied to organized crime. Eduard Chipper, a man who had once claimed to have built the house with a bit of hard work and favors from friends, was exposed as the leader of a powerful Moldovan crime syndicate. International law enforcement, including the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, had already been tracking his movements for years, suspecting that he was orchestrating a complex network that trafficked controlled drugs and firearms across Europe and Russia. Eduard Chipper's empire was built on the trade of cocaine, cannabis, and firearms. The gang, operating in Ireland, Moldova, Spain, and Russia, sourced cannabis from Morocco and transported it to Spain, where it would be shipped across Europe. It was a global operation that moved drugs with the efficiency of a well-oiled machine. But the Chippers weren't just involved in narcotics. They were also heavily linked to the trafficking of firearms, a dangerous operation that reached across borders, fueling crime in multiple countries. In 2019, a raid on their plush company Louth residents uncovered 47 kilos of cannabis resin, worth nearly €1 million. It was a shocking discovery that led to criminal charges being filed against the couple. Yet, despite the drugs haul, the charges were mysteriously dropped. However, the CAB did not give up on their pursuit of the Chippers, and in 2022, they turned their focus on the vast fortune the couple had amassed, money that could not be explained through legitimate means. Eduard and Natalie were no strangers to the high life. Between 2017 and 2019, they traveled the world, visiting exotic locales such as Iceland, Disneyland Paris, Miami, and Barcelona. Their trips were a far cry from the quiet suburban life that most of their neighbors led. But the source of their wealth was never clear. Eduard had once claimed to have worked as a doctor in Moldova, though he admitted that he could not afford the accreditation exam when he arrived in Ireland in 2000. His story, though, seemed increasingly implausible as evidence mounted. Eduard and Natalie were not simply well off, they were living in a world of unparalleled luxury that had been funded by something far darker. And while Eduard insisted that he had made his fortune through legitimate business ventures, the evidence told a different story. The couple's vast assets, including their impressive mansion and the numerous international trips they had taken, were all funded by the proceeds of crime. On March 27, the mansion that once stood as a symbol of Eduard and Natalie Chipper's opulence would be put up for auction. With a reserve price set at €475,000, the property that had once cost them over €1.2 million to build now faced an uncertain future. The lavish villa, with its tennis court, dog kennels, and expansive gardens, would soon be someone else's dream home, bought with money that had once been used to fund an empire of crime. But the sale of the house was not just about real estate. It was a stark reminder of the power of criminal activity, and the consequences that follow when greed and ambition take over. Eduard and Natalia Chipper's mansion, once a symbol of their success, was now a symbol of their downfall. For the Chippers, the story had come full circle. The house that they had worked so hard to build, that had come to define their success and their power, was being stripped from them by the very authorities they had once avoided. The Criminal Assets Bureau's decision to auction off the property was more than just the seizure of an asset, it was a statement about the limits of power, wealth, and ambition when they are built on criminal foundations. Eduard and Natalia's story is one of ambition gone astray. It is a tale of how a seemingly perfect life, built on deception and crime, can unravel with a single raid or the discovery of an untraceable fortune. In the end, it wasn't just their home that was seized, it was their legacy, their reputation, and the life they had worked so hard to create. As the auction day looms, one can only wonder who will take possession of the Whitehouse at Tullyard and what kind of future it will hold. Will the new owners simply see it as a luxurious home, or will they too be haunted by the stories of its past? For the Chippers, the dream they once had has crumbled, and in its place, there are only the cold, unforgiving realities of the law. The mansion may be sold, but the story of Eduard and Natalia Chipper is one that will linger long after the auction hammer falls, an enduring reminder of how the pursuit of wealth and power can sometimes come at the highest cost. Share your thoughts in the comment below.